I could start singing. Ha, that would be funny. That would be horrible. Everyone would lose their breakfast. This morning, we are going to talk about digital calendars. We're going to talk about hotspots, VPNs, and here comes Medina. And we're going to talk about some deletion problems. Good morning, Medina. It's okay if you don't have your video on right now. I know it's early for you. I'm very proud you're the first one in. I'm still working on my coffee too. Hi, Teresa.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. We are live streaming on YouTube as well, so that folks who want to get all the information again can connect up with us. So I'm going to try to avoid picking my nose or doing any other obnoxious bodily functions. I realized I was wiping the sleep out of my eyes and while I was connecting up to YouTube, and then I'm watching myself because there's a delay,
Yeah,
wiping the sleep out of my eyes. I'm like, oh.
that's okay. I just fixed my hair a little bit before I clicked on join.
It looks great. I wish I could go that short. My husband already is like, it's so short.
Oh, that
Yeah.
looks great. Your hair looks great.
It's got this weird curly thing going on, and it's
Uh-huh.
starting to look like a mullet. So I think I need to take care of it. So what are you doing for fun today since you're not doing Joy?
Well, John Cooper is going to hold his Spanish class over at the
Oh,
Mexican restaurant this
that's
afternoon.
fun.
Yeah, he
What a
sent
great
everybody an
idea.
email. He didn't want us to miss much, and he said, who would be willing. I hope everybody can join so they don't miss out. But
Yeah,
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 that was very nice of him.
that's awesome. I think there's a lot to be said for consistency.
Uh-huh.
I know that when we get out of our habits and routines, we tend to find other things to fill them. And so then we get out of habit of a routine. So that's why I'm doing this. Plus,
Yeah.
what else am I going to do on a Wednesday morning? I'd miss
There
you
you go.
guys. Good morning, Medina and Jackie and Andy and
Good
Renee.
morning. Good
And
morning.
just give you a warning, we are live streaming on YouTube. So don't pick your nose.
And that means the whole world can see I still have
Exactly.
It
bad
can, but
And
you know
news.
just
what? Here's the good news. There is nobody watching. Nobody. Joy has not promoted their YouTube channel at all, and so there's nobody watching.
What happens if an old boyfriend of mine Googles me on YouTube?
He's gonna think you're hot stuff these days.
Oh, yeah, right.
You think I'm kidding?
Oh my.
Hey, Linda. Oh, well, some of us look older than others because we don't hit the bottle with the hair stuff.
Choice. It's a
yeah,
choice. It's a
It is
choice.
a choice. I know.
Well, some of us just roll out of bed to be here.
And
Yes,
you
that's
look
why.
gorgeous. That's the part I don't get. You have this gorgeous head of hair.
Right.
Maybe your eyes are still a little sleepy looking, but coffee will take care of that.
Yeah, bags under my eyes, and I haven't even brushed my teeth yet. I don't do that before until after
I
I
can't
drink my
smell them
coffee.
from here, so it's all good.
You're
No
safe.
morning breath.
No morning breath. I'll even kiss you. Mwah.
Right back.
So we're not muted.
Oh, morning, Carlene, Linda, and Louise. Welcome back. We are just past starting time. I'm sure we're going to have a lot more people joining us, but we'll give it a minute or two. Ooh, Carlene, what are you making?
I'm plugging in my iPad. I got all three
Oh,
things. I wasn't sure how to Zoom because, my questions.
yeah, I know. She's got a pile of questions. And as per our request that we go to the things that are publicized first, we are going to hit Carlene's stuff. But Carlene, are you going off to teach somewhere after this class?
No, I'm here. Joyce canceled, so I can
I
stay
know,
home.
but we're here. And Teresa was saying that the guy who teaches Spanish, John, is doing his class today at the Mexican restaurant. So how cool is that?
What did you
I've
do?
been taking ASL class, and we met at the
Strange.
local coffee shop last week, and it was really fun just to be sitting there with our teacher and the other students and not talking. It was great.
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
get too many weird looks.
I could have Zoomed my line dance because I used to do
There you
that
go.
Yeah. Sometimes it's good to take a break.
Yes.
For me, I like to just stay on track, stay consistent with it, because I might forget to show up next week if I don't schedule class. Like, where am I supposed to be? Actually, that's a great segue into where am I supposed to be, because digital calendars, that's one of the things we're talking about. And I'm really hoping that Amy shows up, our other calendar girl and Medina's partner in crime. So I want to, I might have a, okay, yep, Louise is here. Let me just, let me see if Amy is coming so that I don't do the calendar stuff without her. All right. In that case, what we're going to do is we're going to start with VPNs and hotspots. So this is for anytime you are not in your home, whether you are in a hotel, a restaurant, a public Wi-Fi location. Our downtown just recently, because we don't have a lot of connectivity in many areas here, we have very poor cell service, and we have very poor Wi-Fi, unless you got lucky like we did, and they were running the trunk line literally up the mountain to the next town, and it was an easy way to run it past us. They had to go somewhere, and there's a road heading up a good part of the way, so there was already the infrastructure, the poles. And so they asked, did we want to connect to this line, because that would help offset their cost, and it would give us one of the few residential places in town that currently has fiber optic Wi-Fi internet. And so that's a wonderful thing. Oh, and Martin's here. Morning, Martin.
So
So
for sure it's going to get hit.
So we have Wi-Fi, but anywhere else I go, not necessarily going to have Wi-Fi if we're in our community. So downtown, and I don't know the details of how they did this, but they have downtown Wi-Fi. Now I can't imagine what kind of, they must just have a lot of repeaters all up and down Main Street, because it's supposedly, log into downtown merchants Wi-Fi and you'll get good Wi-Fi. And so for somebody who lives off any of these major lines, they're going to get some decent Wi-Fi. Okay, good. Do I want to do that? Maybe not, because that means that we're all using the same non-password protected Wi-Fi. That's not a good idea, in my personal opinion. I mean, maybe if I'm just, watching videos of cute puppies, sure, big deal, no big deal at all. But if I'm doing anything personal whatsoever, I am going to make sure that if I'm in a public space, I'm going to protect myself when I get on the internet. I am certainly not going to get on any banking, any investments, anything that literally has my social security number. I don't want to get on that when I'm on a public Wi-Fi. Now, with a hotspot, first of all, how many people have hotspots, have used them, and know what they are? Let's just do a
We
show of
know what
hands.
they-
And people who were not looking at your videos, if you'll raise the digital hand on your device, since we're not looking at your faces. Okay, so good people
I can
use
see
them.
that.
So that means that let's take a sampling. Linda, you have it on your phone?
But I don't, I know what it is, but I don't use it, so I don't know anything about it.
Okay, great. Who knows what it is and uses it a fair amount or has used it some? Has used it at all? Martin, so
Yeah, hi.
you've used your oh, Amy. She
Well-
says, I thought there was no class today.
The way I interpret it is if I want to get my computer onto the internet, I can use my cell phone. Is that what you mean?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, I've had no problem. I've, navigated through that procedure and it works very well.
Nice.
I think it's pretty secure too.
It
not?
is.
Yeah.
It is. That's the point of it. That's great, Martin. So basically, first thing you need to know is that with a hotspot, you have to have that service. So you don't just automatically get it. So you say, well, I'm just never going to get online and do anything risky anytime I'm outside of my house. I don't need it. Sure. I don't know what the cost is, but I do know that there is a charge for that. When you get your cell phone service, you have to request, they don't just give it to you. You have to request that you have hotspot. And then that's going to be an extra charge. But I think it's fairly nominal. I don't think it's anything that's going to go, oh no, I'm pretty sure it's cheaper than streaming services. We'll put it that way. So, any of the streaming services. There's our other calendar girl. So at the very top of the email that I sent everybody yesterday last week after class, it said, here's the link for my class because nobody else is going to join, but we are. I couldn't start talking about calendars without you.
I get an F for not following directions.
We have
We'll just put you in detention for 5 minutes. How's
Okay.
that?
You're talking about calendars?
We're going to, but I was waiting for
Okay.
you.
Oh, thank you.
So how do you know if you have a hotspot on your phone?
Excellent question. So what you're
Good
going to do is
question.
go into settings, and because you have a iPhone, I am going to look on Scott's iPad. I don't think he has one, but I'm going to go to settings, and because I don't know where it is on his, I am just going to go. I don't want to look at your passwords. I'm going to go to search and I'm going to look for hotspot because it's been a long time since I've looked on a iPad to see where they are. All right, so hot corners. It's giving me hot corners. I don't know what a hot corner is.
Is it one word or two?
I tried two, now I'm going to do one.
It's 2 words, hotspot. It tells you how to set up your hotspot.
Thank you. All right. So
I
on
don't have
a
anything on there.
Linda beat us to the punch. So I'm going to look on our connections here, and I'm going to, and I know where it is on my Android. On my Android, it comes up right away when I go to settings, and it says network, internet, and then underneath that, in small letters, it says something Wi-Fi and hotspot. I can't read backwards. Mobile, Wi-Fi and hotspot. So on an Android, it's right under network and internet. Linda, where is it on what category is it?
Oh, I don't know, because I didn't
Oh,
click on it.
personal hotspot. Okay, thank you, Jackie.
Personal
So
hotspot,
it's
right.
it's in your very first category of and see, Scott doesn't have it on the iPad. So when we look at his, and he's got the airplane mode, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth, he doesn't have personal hotspot like Jackie does. his iPad is not connected to any cellular service. Terry uses her iPad for things like FaceTime and lots of other stuff. So she's got hers connected to her phone service. So remember, this is coming from your phone company. So you would need to connect with them and make sure that you have that service. So we do. We have it on both of our phones. So when I connect up and I hit network and internet, then the next thing, I'm going to take off nightlight. It says, whoops, back up. We have internet, calls and SIMs, SMS, which is text. There's text, airplane mode, hotspot, and tethering. So I actually have it off right now. I'm going to tap on, and then it brings me to my next thing, and it's hotspot and tethering. And then there's a little description of it. It says use hotspot and tethering to provide internet to other devices through your Wi-Fi or mobile data connection. So if I wanted Scott's iPad because I wanted a bigger screen to look at something like join a Zoom class, rather than doing it from my phone, I would turn on the hotspot here. I would use the iPad to connect to my cellular service hotspot here, which I've done many times on the road. If you've been in Tech Savvy for a long time, you've seen me where I'm sitting in the car and we're heading to XYZ, and I've got my laptop in my lap because I'm connecting through my phone. Linda, you had your hand up.
Yeah, well, because when I had looked it up before, I looked up hotspot just in general, and it said, you know, the how to. But then I went to my settings and looked it up, like you said, and it says that I have it, and it takes me to cellular data, and my personal hotspot is on, and it's one word this time.
Okay.
Yes, and just like you said, yeah,
I finally
it's
found
cellular.
Good,
Yeah.
good. So, so right now I have it where it is off. All I have to do is toggle that little switch. Now it's on. Now it says that this is on and ready to go. So now, well, so what? What I'm going to do over here is I am going to, let's see, this might be a little bit tricky. What I did was I tapped on Wi-Fi on this. Okay, now we're already connected to the Wi-Fi here. But if I look down on the list, I can see that I've got Moonshine, which is our Wi-Fi network here. But then the next one down says Pixel 6. That's my phone. So I can then choose to go to Pixel 6. So I would tap the Pixel 6 one, and that would connect this iPad to my Pixel 6. And that's as difficult as it is. I mean, that's literally it. It
I
doesn't
thought they
take
gave
any
you
more
a
than that.
box or something.
What's that, Andy?
I thought they gave you a box when you signed up for that,
Well,
like a
No,
separate
yes
little.
and no. Yes and no. So that's the way it used to be. Our phones are much, much more capable now. When we were at Coral Isles Church, my phone didn't have the capability to have hotspot on the phone. And so, and we didn't have great internet in some parts of that facility. So our business had a hotspot. And so I would take our business's hotspot and bring it to Joy so that we could have more people connect up. Because when we had, 20 people in a class trying to connect up to the internet, it was a horrible service and nobody could do anything. And if we were learning about downloading, I'd be like, okay, do this at home. We can't download here because it's going to jam up everything. But let me show you. I'm going to go to share screen and we will go. So I saved this article from PC Magazine to show you this morning, and I will send it to you. So this is PC Magazine's best mobile hotspots for 2024. There's a little article about it, and then here are their best picks. So they cost, they're, look, there's quite a wide variety of prices about it. There's T-Mobile, there's Verizon, there's Best Unlocked, Best AT&T hotspot. There's some Prime deals, and then Deeper Dive, they tell you exactly why, pros and cons, what they like about it. So that's more of,
Read that.
the reason why I would do something like that, go to one of those mobile kind of hotspots, is if you were trying to do a lot of people. So a separate box is going to have a lot more capability. It's going to be able to get a lot of people. So if you're leading a workshop out in the wilderness or something, but you'd still have to have cell service. You have to be somewhere where there's cell service to connect up to that box. And so that box is, it's like just a little mini repeater for the cell service, and just is going to do one thing. Now, here's the cool thing. I don't know about Key Largo Library or where you are right now, but our little library just got, they wrote a grant. We have the best librarians in the world. We got a grant and they bought 30 hotspots for loan for the library. So you can take them out like you can take out a book.
Wow. Wow.
So what a cool idea to give people in a rural area who can't connect up to the internet the opportunity to connect up anytime that they're near cell service. So that can be, you know, a godsend for somebody who's taking a class, or around here, we rely on a lot of telehealth, so that, you know, they can have really good doctor's visits, that isn't just a phone call, without having to go in. Also very, very good for homebound people who don't have internet service. Sometimes it's hard to get my brain around that there are people who don't have internet service, but there are places, and I live in one of them, where it's just not possible. The infrastructure is not there. And so what are you going to do? So yeah, so good question. Separate boxes, you can buy those. If your phone has the capability of doing it and it's just you doing it, then I would do that. I would just do the phone. No need to have the separate box. Other questions about hotspot? Anybody not understand what to do about it or why? And it is more secure, as Martin said, because when you're using cellular, much harder to get into than open Wi-Fi. Open Wi-Fi without passwords, real easy for bad actors to get in and kind of surf around the crowd and see what's going on. So
Is
you
it-
want to protect yourself. Medina.
Is it a monthly charge or just a one-time thing?
I believe it's a monthly charge. So on your phone, it's a monthly charge that would just come in your phone bill. I think
Okay.
it's just all part of your phone bill. And I don't even see our phone bill, so I'll find out how much it costs. Does anybody know what it costs them? I don't either. Like I said, I'm fairly certain that it's pretty nominal, but I will check for what the cost of a hotspot is, just out of curiosity. Martin,
Are we taking new questions or are we wrapping up the hotspots?
we're wrapping up in the hotspot. Do you have a
Okay,
hotspot
because I have
question?
found in my, no, I'm out of hotspot questions. I just found in my desk one of these. I don't know if you can see it. It's a, I
Yep.
guess it plugs into my computer and I don't know
Yep.
what it's for. And it says
Okay.
PC. Let's see.
Yeah,
Extra
so that's
speed.
just remember hang on.
32 gigabytes.
Remember these?
Yes, I do.
That's the new version of that. It's
Oh,
just
What
data,
is
okay.
she's
data storage. So you've probably got files and stuff on there that you haven't looked at in a while.
Okay, so I just plug it in and it shows.
Just
up.
plug it in and it's going to open up as a separate driver, and
All right.
and it should pop up on your screen, and you would just click that and then open up and explore your files.
Thank you. It's been on my desk for about a year, so I don't know what it's for, and thank you very much.
You might have some nice surprises.
All right. Turn the page.
Hopefully, hopefully. All right,
Yeah.
let's talk about VPNs for a minute. So VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, a different way to go about being safe. If you are in your home, you can use a VPN. A VPN is going to mask where you are in the world. Virtual Private Network. Basically, if we think about, I'm going to use we call the internet the information highway. VPNs are like a private road. So when we are, let's just take sitting in our home. We're at home. I think we're all at home, right? We're at home, we're connected to our Wi-Fi networks, and that puts us on this big information highway that has lots and lots of travelers on it, right? People going back and forth everywhere. Do you remember, for those of you who are around, after Irma and the infrastructure was coming back to the Keys, and no, it wasn't Irma, it was COVID. It was COVID, and schools were shut down, and then everybody was going online, including us. And the day that school started, that virtual school started, when everybody in the Keys, all the kids were getting into class and all the teachers were getting into class. And you think about those sheer numbers of human beings getting onto the internet, the information highway, it was so slow and connectivity was horrible because you have just a certain amount of space that will allow certain number of users. Think about cars on a highway. When you get a bunch of cars going on the highway, going down the stretch, and on a Sunday going home from a weekend, we don't ever go to Miami on a Sunday afternoon or evening, right? Because you know you're never going to get there, right? And the same thing with Friday. Don't try and get back home from Miami on a Friday afternoon because everybody is coming to the Keys. So you just got a certain amount of space. Same thing with the information highway. Regular internet is going to be a very crowded highway, all going in many directions, but still going on this same highway. When you take a virtual private network, it's kind of like going into Ocean Reef Club. Anybody ever gone into Ocean Reef? In order to get to Ocean Reef, you've got to have some credentials. We've made deliveries there, and it's like, unless that person specifically put you on that list, you're not getting in. I don't care what you want to do up there, you're not getting in. So you must be allowed in. Virtual private networks are like that. It is a private road that's very secure and not going to let other people see who's in your car with you, so to speak. So if you get on a VPN, which is just a different way, you're going to use your home internet to hop on this private road to take you where you want to go. Okay, why would I want to do that? Well, I'll tell you, there are many, many reasons. A lot of people feel very strongly about their privacy and feel that what they're doing on the internet is nobody's business but their own. You can take anything. Go ahead. Nope, not a question. And so if you're going to search the internet for things that maybe you don't want anybody else to be in your business about, then you would want to get on a VPN, because as you know, if you watch any kind of crime shows, that's where the criminals are hanging out. But that doesn't mean that VPNs are for criminals. They are there, and that's where we see the most use of it in the public. Probably most of you don't use a VPN. Probably most of you don't have friends who have VPNs. It's relatively new. But here's the nice thing. They are also so much more secure because the signals are moving and bouncing and changing so that you can't literally be caught by a criminal. Okay, so if you're doing some banking and you have concerns, let's say you're at a hotel and you have got to move some money around for whatever reason, doesn't matter. In your hotel room, literally it is possible and happens where there are criminals who are walking up and down the halls because they have the same internet password for the hotel Wi-Fi that you do. And so they are literally mining data as they walk past your room because the Wi-Fi is going to extend to the hallway. And so if you're, traveling and you've got to do some banking, you've got to move some money around for your trip or whatever, then it is possible and does happen where people are then getting into your accounts that way. So how do you prevent that? If you are on a VPN, a virtual private network, nobody's getting into your account, only you. And you are the only person who can see what you're doing when you're doing it. So I'm going to send you this article as well. Now, these also cost. Let me go to this one. This was an article that I had sent a couple of weeks ago from Forbes magazine. It lists the foremost, or I don't know how many it did. NordVPN is the first one it does. Surfshark, Private Internet Access, ExpressVPN. Yeah, so it's the top four, their favorite four of this year. So then there's a little article. What exactly is it? What does it do? How does it do it? They say, think of it as a decoder ring. That's a kind of cool way to do it. Why do you need one? Keeping your data private, using public Wi-Fi safely, protecting your personal data from businesses, protecting proprietary information, access blocked content. And then it goes into more and more and more about what it all is. So then we're going to look at prices. So this one here, Nord, is plans from $2.99 a month. And they like it a lot, 98.8. Surfshark, this is plans from $1.99 a month. Private Internet Access, plans from $2.03 per month. So pretty much less than a cup of coffee. This one is $6.67 per month, and that's pretty funny because it's fourth on their list and it's more expensive, but each one is going to have different reasons. So 30-day money back guarantee. This one has unbreakable security. Well, there's no such thing as that, but that's a nice thought. Yeah. Web without ads trackers, cookie pop-ups. Yeah, I think they all do that too. Blocks trackers, intrusive ads, and malware. So this one supports up to 6 devices with simultaneously connection. So lots of things to think about. Like I said, I did send that article to everybody previously. I'm going to resend it since we're revisiting the conversation. I went with Private Internet Access. I did break down and get one of them because I just wanted to see how it worked, wanted to be able to have that as an option for myself. Now, because there's very poor service. When we were talking about that free Wi-Fi downtown, there's almost no cell service downtown. So I can't even use my own hotspot for to get onto the internet and do it securely that way with a hotspot because there's no cell service and it's very, very poor. Sometimes it's 1 bar downtown. So then town gives you free Wi-Fi, but I'm not going to hop on the free Wi-Fi with everybody else. So having a private internet access, I did that one and it cost me $1.99 a month. And I think had like 3 free months too. So, and it was number 3rd in the list, whatever. I looked at the options and decided to go with that. Martin, question.
Yeah, in other words, I have the hotspot on my phone and I am successful with that. Why would I be interested in the VPN?
Yep. So valid question. So I have both. I have a hotspot and I have a VPN. The VPN keeps it even more secure. There is far more security than cellular decryption.
Okay, very good. I'll look for the email. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll send that article. So just some things to think about. If you're searching the net and you're not doing a lot of traveling and you're just at home, then these things don't really matter. But if you're going to travel at all, and many of us do this time of year, things to consider. Also, Medina, I'm sure that you're in a college town, so you've probably got some pretty good connectivity up there. But if you take a day trip anywhere else outside of where you are in North Carolina, in your region, you're going to get some pretty poor, service. So, can we let it go for the day? Absolutely. But, if you're on an extended trip, sometimes we're on an extended trip for a very specific purpose other than just pleasure, and we've got some things we have to get done, I can think of, we're getting some, oh, I know. Andy, we're
Yeah,
getting
I know.
feedback between the two of
It's
you.
me.
I'm gonna mute you. That might help us. Okay,
I'm trying to shut it off.
that's okay. I just muted one of you. That's all we needed. We're good. So anyway, and it's a VPN is an app. So once I went ahead and paid for that, it gave me the app to download, and let me get to it. And where did it go? Okay, this one is, I'm gonna put it on my, oh, there it is. So it's just a little app there with a lock. When I tap on that lock, it opens it up. Right now it's in yellow, which means I'm not currently using it. Where is the last place that I went to for this? And it was Las Vegas. But I can pick where I want it to be coming from. If I want it to be coming, my signal to be coming from, well, almost literally anywhere in the world, I can choose anywhere in the world, and that's where it's going to be coming from. So it looks like, let's just go back to that crime show scenario. Looks like if I'm the criminal, I am in Belarus. Hard to catch me there, you know, but also just thinking about safety and security, not being where you are is a secure thing to do. To start it, all I do is tap the big power button, and now it's green. And it says I am connected to US Las Vegas. And so right now, if on this phone, as I'm on the internet, that's where it looks like I am if someone were to get in, AKA the police, because that's my only knowledge of how people try and find it, because it's going to go, oh, no, she's in Las Vegas. She's not in Otto, North Carolina. And so that's where they think I am, because that's where my internet signal is coming from. And then it's going to bounce over somewhere else and somewhere else and somewhere else and somewhere else. And nobody's going to see that where I actually am. And so that keeps everything super encrypted, super safe. Another way to be on the information highway. All right. Those are the things that I had as far as security. Calendars. That was Medina's question. Then we're going to do Carlene's and Lois's, who came in to me this morning. So digital calendars. Let's look at, Medina, which one do you use?
Well, I don't even remember what my question was.
What do you mean? Which one does she use? You've left the paper calendar?
She has. She has. She's doing a hybrid life now.
So I think my question was that I use the Apple Calendar, and then when I go to the Google Calendar, I don't remember my question. Oh, geez.
Okay, so we'll just do a real brief, and if it comes to you, it comes to you. So we'll start, since it was her question, on Scott's iPad, and
Oh,
right
I think I
there,
remember.
it's
I think
just
I remember.
calendar.
So when I go to the Google Calendar and you click on, even though it shows up, let's see, Wednesday the 17th at 8:45, Joy Tech. I click on it, but all I get is Joy Tech Wednesday, July 17th, 9 to 10, repeats weekly, join with Google Meet. And then
Okay.
I'm alerted 30 minutes before. And I think
Okay.
that was the question.
Yep, I remember. Okay, so I've pulled up, so first of all, I don't use Scott's Apple Calendar at all. Oh, it's going to be very hard to see. You all have your calendars, you know. So, you know, Scott's Apple Calendar, the Apple Calendar and the Google Calendar look very, very similar. They're going to do basically the same kind of functions. So I can't speak to what, this, I'm just laughing because there's like a lot of stuff. We were comparing calendars the other day and he was showing a friend of ours because the friend was asking, so what are you doing in retirement? And Scott goes, let me look. And he goes on his calendar and he goes, I don't have anywhere I have to be until next Friday because she said I need to be. And then he looks at my calendar because we share calendars and he goes, counting. She has 28 things scheduled between now and Friday. I was like, yeah, I do. All right. So we're going to share screen. We're going to look at my Google Calendar. Don't take a nap after this because mine is very, very busy. But so right now, here's my Google Calendar. I'm going to click on Tech Savvy Seniors. Tech Savvy Seniors does not ask me to join with Google Meet. This is an entry that I made through my Zoom registration. So I didn't have to do anything other than tell Zoom, yes, please. Okay. And so there's my link for join Zoom meeting. So once you register for Zoom, you're never going to lose your registration to click in. So let me stop the share for a minute. Let me show you how that got there. Whoops. All right. So I'm going to go to I also save all of the newsletters so that when somebody asks me, like I got that question this morning, can you send me the link for getting into Joy? So let's get, if I open them, then we don't have to bounce around. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to my email where I saved the Joy newsletter for, this was July 7th was when it came out. So when the Joy newsletter comes and I scroll down to the Tech Savvy Seniors class, and there is my email, there is the Zoom link and code. All right, and then it says tech. When I click on this, and hopefully you'll be able to see, can you see Zoom?
Yes.
Yeah.
See Zoom Tech Savvy Seniors. Okay, so I've already registered for this, but you can still see. There's my Zoom registration. Okay, and now I look at all the dates that Maria has graciously given us with this one registration. So when I register for this class, and this actually started July 3rd, and we've already had this, we're in our third class of this month of this registration. We got it here, got it here. Okay, good. That tells me I'm going to be registered for all of those. That's something that she enables, Maria does. And it says meeting has already started, but I can register and join. It doesn't matter that I'm already registered and joined. Now what it does, I'm not sure if you can see this pop up because sometimes they don't show up, but it says open Zoom meetings. I'm not going to do that because I'm already in the Zoom meeting. But here's what happens. Because I register with my personal email, because that's where my calendar is tied. All right, and I want to make sure that you can see me. Let's see, let's go down to Tech Savvy Seniors. Okay, so, but that's not what I want. What I want is my Zoom registration. So I'm going to look for Zoom. Here it comes up. So I didn't have to dig around for it. Now it says, thank you for registering. If I scroll down, I see again, there's all of the dates that it's going to give me. Scroll down. Here we go. Add to calendar. So after the Zoom meeting stuff, all that of when it is going to happen, I can add it to calendar, and that's .ics. I don't use ICS, so I don't know what that is. That might just be the Apple calendar. An Apple user can tell us. But what I do is I click here and I add to Google Calendar. You can also add it to your Yahoo Calendar. Okay? Or I can have to dig up this email every single time and join meeting this way, which means I've got to go find it, which means I've got to make sure I've got an organized place to put it. But if I don't want to do that, I add it to my Google Calendar, which I do every single time. And then when I go to my Google Calendar, not that one, that's the one that doesn't have anything. It's right here in my Google Calendar. And I can edit it. I can change the color. I can delete it. I can do all kinds of things with it, just like I do with every other entry with my calendar. But every Wednesday morning, there it is, right at the very top of my Wednesday morning. And there's my link. And that's all I have to do to get to Joy Class. Very, very simple. Okay, Linda, question.
I just want to, whatever the word is, I do the same thing you do. When it comes out in the newsletter, I put it on my calendar, and on Wednesday morning, I go in and I click, and that's it. And all of
Okay.
you are out there struggling to get on. I don't understand it. So it's one click.
It is very
Thank you.
simple. Thank you. And Amy, just so you know, that's kind of why we do this blended life. There is absolutely nothing wrong. I have a calendar hanging on the wall in front of me. It has a very pretty picture. It has some major stuff on it, written on it, that I don't want to miss. But in terms of my day to day, because of the huge number of places that I need to be at specific times, I got to have my digital, because I couldn't possibly respond to the question, would you like to have lunch next Friday? And I go, I really would, but I got to go home and look at my calendar. I'm sorry. You know, and I used to carry a day timer around. You know, I had one of those big, chunky, thick. It was like my Trapper Keeper for adults, you know, if you remember those for kids. You know, it was this big, heavy thing that I carried around, and I did notes in and all this. It was like my little traveling office, but now my little traveling office takes up this much space. And it's really easy to move stuff around, coordinate, and let other people know where I am. This is how Scott knows where I am on any given day, because I share my calendar with him. And that's a permission that I give. Just like I share location with him, I share my calendar with him, and so that he knows, because he would never be able to keep up with my schedule. I know where he is. Right now it's Wednesday morning. Pickleball center is open. That's where he is. Now, after pickleball happens, he might be bike riding. He might be paddling. Not sure. Or he might just be coming home. Or he might be sneaking off to Dunkin' Donuts for a minute. Or he might be sneaking out to Cookout to get a milkshake. I know where he's been. So sharing our calendars is sharing our calendars and location is useful for the two of us, because we trust each other. We want each other to know where we are. If we don't show up, you know, I could be on a wreck on a lonely country road. I would want him to be able to find me. And even though there's really poor service in terms of connectivity, somehow Google Maps shows where I am, or at least where I was about 2 minutes ago. So that's useful. Same thing with when he goes mountain biking into the woods by himself on a trail, and there are bears and rocks and snakes and places to fall. And I kind of want to know where his last location was, so I can send the rescue team out. You know, so that's why we share. Other people don't feel as confident or as safe sharing, and that is absolutely respectable, and don't want to share. There have been times when Scott's off in the wilderness and we don't know really where he is, other than this spot device. I'm in the wilderness by myself, and so for those limited times, I share with my daughter where I am, because now neither one of us are really each other's backup. So now I've got a third backup. And then once we're back in civilization, I stop the share, and she doesn't have to know where I am from day to day.
So how do you do that, Betsy? How do you share your location with someone?
Okay, so I use Google Map. We use Google Maps. And when I open up Google Maps, I am going to go to my account. So my account is always where my little picture is. If you didn't put a picture in place of your name, then it's going to be your letters. But I'm going to go there, and right down, when I tap on that, it gives me this big menu. I just love how this works. And so there's all kinds of choices for my menu with Google Maps. And one of them says location sharing. Here it is. location sharing. So when I tap on that location sharing, it says right now I'm sharing with Scott Base, and Scott Base is sharing with me. It could also be a one-way share, like when I share with my daughter. She's not sharing with me when I'm off in the wilderness. Don't need that, but I'm sharing with her for safety's sake. And so it shows up Scott. So I tap on Scott, and then it shows can see your location. Now I can turn this off right here, or I can modify it. I can make it a temporary share. I can add notifications. I can also, if I go back to the original and get out of where I am with him, right here it says new share. So if I wanted to share with Medina, then I would tap on that and it would come up automatically with my list of contacts. And the first choice is share for an hour. So that's already defaulted, share for an hour. Or I can say until I turn it off, till I make the choice to turn it off. So that's how I have Scott's setting. But the default, and I can change this. It says 1 hour and then there's a plus or minus. So I can say for 2 hours, for, you know, however many hours I want to share with them. And then my favorites in my contact list comes up as the icons here. Who do I want to save with? The guess is that I would want to save with somebody in my favorite list. And if that's not it, then I can also look for, so these are all my suggestions. I slide to the right and then it says more. And I go more, and then it gives me my entire contact list. So anybody who's in my contact list, let's say that, I don't know, you're downtown shopping, and I'm talking downtown Miami, not Key Largo, downtown shopping, and you want to go and look at one thing, your friend wants to go look at another thing for safety's sake, or, you know, you're at a festival, you're at Art Basel, and you want to stay and talk with this artist, or they want to go off and listen to some music or whatever, go get some food. How do you find each other in a crowd? You know, you can make a phone call. Maybe you can't hear each other, but you can get real close by sharing location for an hour. We're gonna split up. I'll meet you back here, or I'll meet you at wherever you are at that point. We'll just do it that way. So that's a really nice way, convenient to use share your location. You can also, oh, and then down at the bottom, it says, learn what information will be shared. So if you want to know more about that, tap that and find out what will be shared. Now, for all my iPhone people, does anybody in the iWorld, Apple world, use location sharing? Okay. Jackie.
My children use Life 360
Okay.
if I'm driving up to Jacksonville. So my son-in-law will know where I am.
Yep.
On that app. I think I downloaded the app.
Yep.
Yeah.
So a lot of younger families use those, Life 360. And I did send an article when we were talking about this last time, last couple of months. That's not the most secure.
Oops.
And I'll see
Well,
if I can, if I
okay.
can dig that link up again. But Life 360 has had some problems. And so I have not heard, and I didn't know anything about it, Jackie, until I read this article. I was like, oh, good, here's another one. And then I read that there are some security problems with that one.
Okay.
So if you guys have a Google account, you might want to consider doing that. Or I can also look into whether or not Apple Maps has the same thing. I'm sure it does.
Well, I love Google Maps. I mean, that's
Okay.
the one I
I do
use
too.
traveling. Yeah.
Oh, well, then tell them to use Google Maps for location
Okay.
sharing. Much more secure. All right, let's move into Carlene's questions. Carlene, everybody, several people, not everybody, because I knew who was going to show up today. But I sent an email to several people this morning, and the idea was that you not respond to me right away because we wanted to do it in class. And Carlene's question was about, all right, let me get back up to it. All right. Nope, wrong one. Tell me I did hit send. Did I hit send? Did you get an email from me this morning?
Yes,
Yes.
we did.
Yes.
Okay, good, because I was trying to have coffee and do this at the same time. All right, so I sent an email to Carlene, Terry, Linda, Kathy Hendricks, Amy, and Medina. Sorry, like I said, I didn't know who was going to be in class today. And what it said was, I'm sending you a test. Don't do anything to this, but right now, what I would like you to do is I would like you to, if you got one of these emails, I want you to respond to all. So I am going to go back to share screen so we can see what we're doing from here. Don't need that.
Oh,
Go to
But
our
this might-
inbox.
okay, Betsy.
Yes.
I should have put there that it's a blind copy, so it might be different.
Totally different.
I Sorry, that's the caveat, isn't it? It's a caveat.
It is a huge caveat. It is a huge caveat. That is the point of blind copy. All right, so let's talk about what her question was. Her question was, so here's the email that I sent to several people, and you look here and you can see who I sent it to, and here it is. So she said she couldn't hit reply to all, and she couldn't find it, and she knew she could find it before. And Carlene, the only reason why I'm going to run through the original question is because some people might not know this, and it's still a good question. Then we'll do the modified version. So if you wanted to, and I'm asking you to do it now, if you got an email from me, or you can do it later, doesn't matter. But I'm going to go in Gmail, I'm going to go over here to my more. So I can go right here to reply, or I can go over here to more. Now, Gmail also has, and I tend not to look down here. I don't know why, but I don't. I can hit reply to all right here, nice big button, or I can forward this, or I can just reply to the original sender. So if I hit reply, I am literally just going to reply to myself because I sent this email, okay? Or if I hit reply to all, which I'm going to do, I'm going to click that. Now it lists all the recipients out, and I'm just going to say thank you. And then I'm going to hit send. It went to everybody. So the real question, which I didn't understand, I'm going to start a new email, and I'm going to go to Carlene, and then I'm going to do blind carbon copy. And isn't that silly? Because there's no such thing as carbon copies anymore. But I'm going to go to Kathy, and I'm going to go to, and it's going to give us the same people, Linda, Amy. We'll leave Terry out because she's not in it. We'll do Jackie. Might as well do Louise since she's in here. And we'll do Martin since he's here. And I'm not looking at your faces. So, oh, wrong Martin. Ah, I might not have Martin as a separate one. I don't know if I have your email address, Martin. Let's see.
I got kind of confused this morning. That's why I was late signing on, but I got through eventually. But I re-registered, so maybe it's
Okay. Well, no, this is not connected. This is my own email. This isn't associated with Joy. This is my own email.
you want it
So-
now?
What's yes?
Okay, Birka, BIRKA
BIRKA.
at Comcast.net.
Okay. All right, I'll put it in there. Burka at Comcast.net. Okay. So there's
Thank you.
Burka. All right. So test. And I'm going to say, please respond or reply to all. Okay. That's it. Because I always like to have something in the subject. I always like to have something in the body of it. I always like to sign it myself. Now, you all know it's coming. So you should have no problem opening this up. But notice, who is it to? It is only to Carlene. Everybody else is under blind carbon copy, which means, and this is the reason why we use it, is because With a blind carbon copy, you are protecting the identity of the others in the group. It is not possible to reply to all with a blind carbon copy. Carbon copy, yes. So notice in the email, there are 2 ways to do it. You can, if I go over here, let's see. If I were to do a new one, compose, and it were to Carlene, and then I do CC, that means that this is an open letter. So let's just do Kathy, and it'll start generating the same folks: Amy, Medina, Jackie, Burka. It's not going to remember it for me. I have to put you in for it to actually remember. .net. There we go. And Louise. Okay. So, and then this is a test. So this one, they are carbon copied, CC'd, which means it's open, which means they're not protected. Their identities are not protected. So I sent you another one. You're going to get a bunch of useless emails, but the idea is with a BCC, you cannot respond. That's the point of it. Protect the people you are sending to. So when I send you an email from my class list that tells you what we did in class, what we're doing next week, that informational thing you get with all the links, I BCC those because I am being respectful of your privacy. That one, you're not going to get this big long list of everybody in the class, and you can forward it with confidence because you may be sharing this. Hey, look what I learned in tech class today, and you're sharing it with a friend of yours. Then you're literally sending everybody's email out to everybody else. As a tech savvy teacher who's concerned about security, I'm not comfortable with that. So when I'm doing a group mailing, I tend to BCC it. If it's something that we're all working on together, we've all agreed we need to be able to contact each other individually, then I will just put it all in the main sender, or I may CC it. I really don't understand the point of CCing versus just putting everybody in the main, receiver list. I don't really see the purpose. I guess it might be a subtle hint to, you're not the main recipient of this, but I'm letting you in on the storyline anyway. Might be more useful in business. So does that make sense, Carlene?
Yes.
So if
no,
you're communicating with people who you do want to, just instruct them on how those 2 things work. If they're keeping them private for a reason, they're probably not going to comply with your request, but they might not know. And they might go, oh, sure, okay, we need to share each other's emails on this. Most of the time, if it's a group of not tight friends or family, people are going to say, ask permission first, which is the respectful thing to do. Is everyone okay with me sharing your emails?
Right. Okay. Well, this is about my dance class in Miami. I just started teaching line dance in Miami, and I was trying to keep it on the same thread, but then I got to go to put all those emails in. Oh my gosh. Anyway, just that's good to know. So I'll get their permission so I can just keep it on the same thread. Anyway, because I can't reply to all. I'd have to put them in individually each week to blind copy, or I have to have.
No. So Jackie, you got a question?
I do. I just tried to reply to you, and I guess it's because it's blind copy, because when I hit send, it gives me, it did send. It gave me a list of things like cancel, and now that one went. So I don't know what I don't know what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. So, Carlene, here's what I do. When I compose a list, so the email that I'm going to send to everybody, I send it to myself. All right. And then I do blind carbon copy, and I do tech. And look at that. When I start to type in tech, here is my group, Tech Savvy Students. And I click on that, and there's all my Tech Savvy students. And then I can also, and there's 20 people in that group, I can pick and choose. If there are people who I'm not going to send to, I can right then and there get rid of them and not have them in this particular mailing. They can't all respond to each other, but I don't have to type them all in again.
I know, but I have a new students each week, so I always have to get on my Chromebook to do it, put them in the group, because I can't put them in a group on my iPad or my phone.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, yes, but
Yep.
the thing is the solution. But if I type that group, I do a new email on my iPad, so that's the most convenient.
Yep.
It doesn't recognize that group. Do you see what I'm saying? My iPad,
Yes.
I've before, and it doesn't I can't type the group in and
Yep.
it just appear. I have to
That
do it on
is
my,
the difference between a mobile device and a
okay.
PC.
All right.
Got it.
Limited.
So if we look, I just grabbed Amy's as an example to catch everybody up with what we're talking about. So I went to my contact list. All right. And in my contact list, I have Amy. It says I imported her address to here from on 3/8. I don't know what year, but I added her to Tech Savvy Students. I have many groups in this. I have belly dancers, I have various boards, I have Weight Watchers, I have lots of different lists here, but I can also add. I can add her to a list. I can have her on another list. I can make a list just of calendar girls. But when I'm adding a new contact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add them to a group. Okay. So if I do Martin, I'm going to say create a contact and I'm going to put Martin in. Hopefully I spell the name right. Still Lofsen. Is that it?
Very- You did it better than I do it. Go ahead.
Is that correctly spelled?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, and there we go. I have nothing else about him yet. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to put in his email and it's Burka@Comcast, right?
Yes.
.net. Okay. And then I'm going to go up to here and I'm going to add a label and I'm going to add him to Tech Savvy Students. Now, I've made this mistake a million times. It gives me a check mark and I go, okay, I'm done. No, when you're adding to a group, if you're going to do a group mailing, make sure you go down and hit apply. I've many times added somebody and then go, why did they not get the email? I forgot to hit apply, but that's okay. You can go back in and add them. But so now Martin is going to be in that Tech Savvy Seniors. And then I'm going to click save and it's good to go. So when I send and it generates, there's his contact. Okay. So that's the easiest way to send out group emails so that you're not having to type in people's. Do you think I would type in all 25 email addresses every single week when I send you guys an email? No. So that's a really, really easy way to do it. Linda.
Another way that I do it is to go back to the last email that went to everybody and use that. Just erase all the data.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Okay. So that does get confusing to me simply because I oftentimes don't want to have it look like it's still on the same thread. So for instance, if we do this one here, what you're saying is, let's see, this one's not the blind copy. Let's go back to send and this might be it. Nope. See, already I've got too many. Here we go. Here's the one with the blind copy. Okay. So let's say I do this and all those people that I sent to are blind copy. So I open this one back up. Well, there's not much to see because that's all there is there. But let's say that I'm going to resend to this one. So what you're saying is you're going to click forward, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Are you clicking forward? Okay. And it's still, no, it's not forward because it's not going to give me all those people. It's giving me nothing. I'm deciding who it's going to. Let's go back. I'm trying to recreate what you're doing.
Wait a second. I think I understand what Linda said. So, do what you just did. Reply. Was it reply all? No, reply all, I think.
I can't. It's blind comp and copy.
Oh,
Okay,
forward.
so
I'm
we're
sorry,
talking
I'm
about
sorry.
if it's
No.
not blind.
You forward,
Right.
you forward.
We're gonna do this one that is not blind.
Okay.
Okay, here's one that's not
Oh,
blind.
oh, okay, so there's another step in there. So I do the forward and then I do a copy and paste
Okay, so I'm
of
gonna
the
go here.
addresses.
I'm gonna go forward. Oh, okay. I gotcha. So then what you would do is you would go in here and you would copy and paste, but that's a lot of work. So if I take this like this and I do a Control C and I put it up here and I do Control V, okay, it does do it, but it is more work. Versus having if it's a group, and I'm just gonna dump this one because I don't need it. But that is an extra step versus if I go here and I go, this is to me, because I'm always going to send it to myself because it has to have an original recipient, right? That's why I send it to myself. Plus I have a copy of what did I send? What did I say? And then if I do, well, either way, if I do blind carbon copy or carbon copy, and like I said, I do blind so that everybody is protected. I just start typing in tech. I'm not gonna do nothing but that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To me, that is easier. If you have a group that you're sending to repeatedly. Now, Carlene is saying, well, she always has new students. That's okay. You go into your group and you add new students, just like I just added Martin to that group. It's as simple as when I get their email, I add it to the group. And I go back in periodically and I get rid of the people who aren't coming to the group. And that's why I had sent out that email. Please tell me if you don't want to get this email anymore, because why send it to people who just think it's email junk? You know, no point in it. Nobody responded to that, by the way, in terms of saying, no, take me off. But here's the thing. Some emails will, if you have, I found, if you have a certain number of people in your group and that sweet spot is somewhere in the 20s. I don't remember what it is because we switched our system, but it got to, if it was like, I think it was over 25, then the receivers started identifying that as spam. If it went out, a chunk of emails came from me to 25 different people, you as the receiver got that, and your internet, your email service went, oh, this is spam. It just went out in a group. Boom, you know, this must be spam. Throw it in the spam file. And people go, I didn't get it. That's why we switched to MailChimp, because MailChimp, it typically isn't seen as a spam. And you can send out 500 at a time. You cannot send out 500 with Gmail. You cannot.
Oh my God.
It will stop
So-
it right there and say, oh, you're doing something else. You're not just using this for personal. You're using it for business. So it will stop you. So there are some limitations there. Medina.
Okay, a minute ago, you were in Gmail and you said Control C and Control B.
V. Victor.
V? What is
Control
that?
B is bold.
I'm
So
sorry?
Control B for Betsy is bold.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's a whole, if you would like them, I will happily send you the control. Now if you're using a PC, it's Control. And I wish Joyce Peckman was here. Who has an Apple computer? Not Apple everything else, but you have an Apple computer? I thought
Yeah.
you had I thought you had an HP computer.
No, I have Apple.
Okay. It's something else in Apple. It's a different, and I'll figure out what it is and say it.
Yeah,
as
but
well.
you were in Gmail, and so I use Gmail.
Okay, it probably will work that way.
Yeah.
Anytime I am cutting and pasting,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for the button that says cut and paste. I'm using control keys.
Oh, okay. So like Control
Far
C,
faster.
Control C
Copy.
is like copy, and then Control V would be paste.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So much easier, faster. Just my fingers do it. But yeah, there's a whole thing of control.
Yeah.
And I'll send that document. It will be an attachment in today's email. And it is PC, but I'll say what it is for Mac as well.
'Cause I usually will highlight what I want to copy and then
Yep.
click copy and then paste it.
Yep. You don't have to.
Okay.
There, yeah. Keyboard tricks. All right. Carlene, her other question had to do with Bluetooth and music, correct?
Yes, but
Okay.
last night I used my Bluetooth. It didn't do that. So, but it's very sporadic.
I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
So just so that everybody knows, it says, oh, and did you figure out how to delete a contact?
Not the one I was doing. No, I'm on my Chromebook now, so I'm trying to do that again, but I'm
Okay,
also
so you're trying to delete on Chromebook.
yes.
That shouldn't be a problem. We may stick around and do that. That's very specific, so hang
Okay.
out, but we are going to talk about Bluetooth because that affects everybody. She says, my Bluetooth speaker started cutting out today. It's charged, so I know that isn't the problem, though maybe the internet was the problem. But I played music with just the iPad and it was fine. Need to know by next week. So here's the way Bluetooth is going to deal with things. We forget how many things we have on Bluetooth. So right now, and I find this a lot when I go to the gym, I have my earbuds in my pocket, not in my ears yet. I have my car right there, and I have my phone. I don't have another external speaker, but it has happened. Actually, not at the gym, but somewhere else. I had my earbuds in my purse, I had my phone, I had my car right there, and I had my big speaker that I was using to play music for folks. And so my phone is my generator of my music. So I go to my Apple Music and I'm using my Bluetooth on my phone to send that music somewhere else. Well, I have to be very specific because all of these other devices, Bluetooth doesn't always play well together. In fact, mostly they don't play together. The newest devices, like brand new devices, can accept several channels at a time and can figure out where you want to go with those, but oftentimes they won't. And so if I'm playing music on my phone, the last place that I used Bluetooth with is what it's going to recognize. So the last one. So I was trying to connect up to my big speaker, which I don't use very often, and I couldn't make it happen. And I forgot that my earbuds were in my purse. The music was going to my earbuds in my purse because they're Bluetooth. My phone and my earbuds had connected most recently because we had been at the gym. I hadn't connected to my speaker in about 2 weeks. So there was no reason for it to go looking for the speaker. So I literally had to break the connection with everything else, make sure that I was not connected to my car, was not connected to my earbuds with Bluetooth, and was only connecting to my Gemini speaker. Okay, so these are all like radio waves. Best way to describe it. And, when you tune a dial, listen to, we're talking old school, you're turning a dial on radio and you're trying to get in that one station you want, there's a lot of other stations out there. So there's a lot of other radio waves happening, right? And so all those they don't go away just because you're not tuned into them. They're still there. And so when you turn that dial, you fine tune to receive that specific one. Same thing with Bluetooth. So whatever's generating the signal, let's say you're using your phone or your iPad or whatever, wherever you're tuning into the music, and then you have to make sure that that device is specifically and solely connected to the receiver device. So it's just like fine tuning it. You have to turn off all the other ones. Turn off the Bluetooth. I turned off the Bluetooth in my car. I turned off the Bluetooth on my earbuds. And then all I had was the Bluetooth to my speaker. An easier way to do that, if you don't want to mess around with what's on and what's off, and this is getting confusing or it's too much to do, distance. Bluetooth has a very limited range. And so generally speaking, Bluetooth, if I walk up to my friend's house up the road here, my Bluetooth is not going to reach that far. I don't know how far it's going to reach. And that would take some testing. But by figuring out where your distance is, leave those other devices that far away. In a block house, sometimes it's just the other room because concrete does tend to block those things, just like it will block Wi-Fi. And if you're in a concrete home, you often have to have a repeater for your internet connections because it's just not going to reach from one end to the other, or it's not going to reach from your bedroom to the pool. You've got block and distance in the way. So that's kind of the short answer on how Bluetooth works. And that's the first solution to figuring out why is it seem to not be working. Distance and connectivity. If it's trying to find other things as well. If I was doing that at home, my 2 bathrooms are also Bluetooth enabled. So think about if there are, and when we did classes, when Averill and I did classes together and we often shared music, then oftentimes I was connecting to her instead of connecting to the speaker I wanted to. So many things are going to be receiving that. So you got to kind of just do process of elimination because you already did is the internet connection good? Good to see you guys. Thank you. Is
Betsy,
the
thank you.
Wi-Fi
Thank
signal
you.
good? Thank
gotta
you.
go. I gotta go.
And then process of elimination, all the other devices that are trying to connect up.
Right.
That help?
Well, I have to absolutely connect my Bluetooth to my iPad every single time. And so the only other thing that's connected is my watch because I just looked at it.
Watch.
But you know, I that's really, I don't think the problem for my Bluetooth, because it's working fine, it's working, and then it doesn't, then it comes back. You know, it's just like skipping, you know, like a record skipping. So it's kind of weird.
So where are you when you're doing this?
In my living room.
Okay. And
anyway.
but you said if you're playing it directly from the source, it's working just fine.
Well,
you're playing it off your iPad, it's working just fine?
No, not always. I mean, just occasionally. Now when I play the radio out and outside, sometimes it's the radio station, you know, that kind of cuts out. And I'm sure that's the internet, the streaming. But if the music is already downloaded on my iPad, and for it to start skipping is like, what? I don't know why that would be.
If it's downloaded, so if the music is already downloaded on your iPad.
Yes.
And
so, I don't know why.
And you're using Bluetooth, then the internet is not the issue. And you've already checked it's charged, then it's got to be the Bluetooth connection.
Right. Well, it worked last night. My music, I played the music last night and it was okay. It was in the afternoon. I don't know if there's something else going on somewhere that could interfere with the, you know, radio wave.
It could. There can be interruptions. Sadly, Louise left and she had a question today too. Oh, well, we can't get to everybody.
No, 2 questions, but that's good. You know, as long as I don't have the problem when I'm teaching class.
Yeah, that would be a big problem.
But it's always good to have backup. I'll tell you what, last night I went to Pinecrest to teach my class and I left my iPad at home. So I had to use my phone and I had a little tiny Bluetooth speaker. So I used that. And then my friend brought her, I said, Lisa, do you have a Bluetooth? Can you bring it? And she did. She brought it and my phone rejected it. And guess why it rejected it? Because her phone was connected to it. So therefore, so she figured that out later. She never brings her phone in class and she happened to bring it in that night. So we just did with my little $5 Bluetooth. So it was
and that's the thing of Bluetooth doesn't like to share, you know?
No.
And so, well, here's another thing. What if has, it's Larry, right? What's your husband's name?
Yeah, Larry.
Has he ever connected to your Bluetooth?
Are you kidding me? He has a flip phone.
Well, when Scott and I get in the car, his car, because he's primary user for Bluetooth, it's a battle between, you know, who it's going to go to. So there is that. If anything else, you know, it's always is anything else ever been connected? You have to eliminate those.
Well, discovered that my iPad can be connected to Carolyn's when I go to line dance at the Civic Club, her Bluetooth speaker, because I hook up to hers, and then mine was
Yep.
automatically connected, but it wasn't interfering. It was not. She was able to play the music just fine. And then when I went to play my music, it was fine. So that was an aha that I didn't realize. I thought you had connected.
Age of devices and repeat history of connecting. If
Right.
you save the connections, it's going to be saved.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just a matter of looking back in your settings and go, oh yeah, I've connected to this once, and so it's going to recognize it again.
Yeah.
Until you say forget the connection, so you get connect or you get forget. If you say forget, then you can eliminate it entirely and start fresh if you need to. Sometimes that's
Right.
the only way. It's like hitting the reset button.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm sorry the
Yeah.
other lady didn't get her question answered.
I'll have to email her. Medina,
Yeah.
do you have a question?
Betsy, yeah, next week, can you talk about how we can fax from a phone?
Yes. So I'll tell you right now, because you might
Yeah.
be the only person. But when you're going, so one of the things that you have to do, let's see. It should be that you are just, okay. So you're going to, let me just pull up a document to run through it real quick. So let's see. All right, floodplain letter. So I've got a document pulled up on my phone, and then I'm going to go, so I'm in Google Docs. I can only answer this through Google Docs because Scott doesn't use any of the Apple document stuff either. But let's say we're going to fax a document. So I'm going to go to my dots up at the top, my 3 little dots, and then there are my choices for how I want to do, what I want to do with it. I'm going to go to share and export. And if I go to, my first thought, because normally what I would do is I would fax through my printer, but that's probably taking an unnecessary step. What my thought was, let me just talk my thoughts out loud. My thought was, I'm just going to go to my printer, which is already set up on my phone, and send it to my printer. But this time I would change the destination. So instead of sending it to my printer, I can, right now I've got it set up to other printers, all printers, save as a PDF, but I'm thinking that might not be it. It might be easier, share and export, to send a copy. Nope, that's not going to allow me to do it there either. Well, it chooses which format. So I'm going to say send it as a PDF. Let's send it as a PDF. And then, okay. So when I choose send it as a PDF, which I'm always going to choose because most people can't change a PDF. I mean, some can, some who pay for that service. But and then when I do that, it's going to give me how do I want to send it. And so I can send it in messages, Messenger, Bluetooth, Outlook, print, Zoom. I don't have it set up to send by phone, but phone and fax are the same thing, right? I can send it with WhatsApp. I can send it with Bluetooth. I don't have it set up differently.
All right, so
right,
now
I'm gonna have
another
to-
question.
I have to look
You
at that.
said that, okay, and you just said you've got your phone, your printer connected to your phone. I don't know how to do that either. Can you talk about that next week?
That's because that was the question you asked, and then we dealt with it, and you didn't show up.
I'm a bad girl.
So here's what you're gonna do. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
Okay.
Go to your app store. What kind of printer do you have?
Canon.
Okay. So you're gonna download in the app store. Let me just go here and pull it up. In the app store, what kind of Canon printer is it?
MG5420.
Okay, it doesn't like that, so I'm just gonna do Canon printer. So what I'm coming up with is Canon print, Canon printer, Canon print for iPad. I'm just gonna go Canon print. And so then what it's giving me, it's giving me a bunch of choices. It's giving me printer app, smart printer. That's not the question I asked. The next one is Canon print. It's free. I just download it by hitting the little cloud. The other one is Canon Incorporated. No, probably not going to use that. Canon mini print. Nope. Printer app, smart printer. Nope. Canon camera. So if I had a camera, I might do that. But I'm going to go with Canon print. And so I'm just going to download that app on my phone, and then it's going to have you set it up because they're going to need to be able to talk to each other. So you are probably also going to have to go to your printer and make sure that it recognizes your phone. So you'll have to go in your settings and have it connect. You want them to be able to talk to each other. When I go to my printer app, let's see, where is it? I forget what it's called too on my apps. Let me just go printer. Oh, there it is. It's my Epson app. So I look, and on my phone, there is Epson. So that's my printer. So when I tap on my Epson app, then this is my Epson print enabler, and it'll tell me how to print, and it will tell me how to share. So it says, tap the share icon and then tap the print icon. So you have to connect the two of them. You have to get your phone and your printer talking to each other, and then they will remember that connection. And so it's real easy. Like when I was back in that document, when I go to my three dots here and I go, it took me a minute to learn that it's share and export on my phone, because I'm like, what? I just want to print. No, I'm actually exporting or sharing the data with another device. So, and that's where I come up with the print right there.
I
So
see.
lots of things I can do with it, but if I hit print, then it's going to come up with my printer, and then it will give me, how many copies do I want? Do I want color or black and white, and so forth and so on. And then I just hit the little printer button, and then that prints it. But I'm gonna have to work on the fax one.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, ladies. Thank you for coming. It's good
Thank
to see you all.
Thank you,
Thank
Betsy.
you.